corporate, as told by Group Captain Dr. Venkatraman about that you guys are there for doing intern for MMA, and yes, you are stepping yourself to the next level, and that's called the corporate. So I always call it's a corporate. It's like a jungle, and how to survive in the jungle. That's what the journey talks about. So today we'll be talking about how to not only survive but thrive in this particular jungle and how to work out. So gearing up for corporate is a program especially designed for you. So before that, 3 quick ground rules. You all have to participate. So initially I'll just request you, I'll not allow all of you to speak in between. You can scribble your notes, you can write down your questions and queries, and end of the session we can take it on. But when I say participate here, yes, there will be lots of interaction over the chat. So my request is on the chat, please do that. So that will help me out so that I understand, yes, where we are and what are the things we can take it on. So please do fully participate in chat and encourage me also. The more you participate, the more I get encouraged and I get excited too. Go all in, give your 100% to do that. So complete focus over here and take action. So whatever you learn today, that's an important thing. Whatever you learn today, scribble and take actions from here, because if you want to change anything, if you want to do something differently, the only thing which can move is to take actions. Just by downloading the things won't help unless and until you start executing it. I hope that everybody is ready. So if you are ready, and I'm sure that you might be taking it through your laptop or a desktop. It's the mobile phone is the only option, then it's okay, but always recommended that you should take the online sessions through laptop and desktop to get more mileage out of it. You should get ready with your notepad and pens to take notes wherever it is required. Sit in a closed door. When I say closed door, means in a silent place where nobody can disturb you, and your focus should be 100% on learning over here and asking questions. Turn off your mobile phone if you are using your laptop and desktop for this session, so that phones, notification, ringtones will not disturb you. And finally, learn with an open mind, because for learning, this is one of the key things. Your mind should not be closed. You should not be occupied with something else. You should always have in mind of learning. That should be the key. So if you are ready, please do type R in your chat box. Let me see how many of you are enthusiastic over here, excited about to gear up for the new corporate world. Good, thank you guys, thank you very much. I can see lots of people are writing ready. Thank you very much. So what you are going to learn in this next 1 hour, quickly I'll recap. There will be a paradigm shift. As of now, you are studying, you are in the campus. So what is a shift you require to work in this corporate jungle? So what paradigm shift we are talking about, we'll talk on what's the corporate game. So once you land up in the corporate, there's a game, and what game you have to play and how you have to play and what are the rules of playing. How does this personal branding? So it's not only about the hard work you do, it's not about the things what you do, it's about the branding, how you brand yourself in the corporate world, because that is very important. If you are just another entrant into this world, you will go out just an entrant. But if you want to make a mark, your unique style, then you have to create your personal branding. So what that personal branding will help you out, we'll touch upon those parts. And finally, everything can be done only when you do a communication. So what are the steps you should take for doing an effective communication? So that's, I call it for a communication for success. So these are the 4 touch points. We'll go through this quickly in this 1 hour. Though the subject is very vast, but I'll try to compress it and give you more and more value in 1 hour. If this is okay with you, type okay in your chat box. Yes, quickly type okay in your chat box. Yep, thank you very much, guys. Let's begin. So a snapshot already given by Dr. Venkatraman, so I don't have to go through it, but just quickly, and that's all. He has talked about me, lot of many things, but the only thing he hasn't talked that I'm still a salesman. I still sales. Why I say that I'm a salesman? Because I believe everybody in this world is a salesman. They are selling something or the other. Now let's start how we are. So the very first time when we ask something from our parents and they say no, then you try to convince them. You did a first pitch in your life. When you go for a job hiring, you did a first interview, you are selling yourself, your uniqueness to the corporate. We are salesmen. When you are on a job, when you talk to your boss and convince him on certain project, you are a salesman. When your review is done and when they ask you what you have done and you ask for your performance pay for appraisals, that is also selling. On the other hand, when I have a last few points of a talk, when Dr. Venkatraman was telling that you guys are talking to different industries, different people to ask what they have done better, what they have done good, so that they can give, you can award them. What you are doing, you are making a sales pitch. So whatever you do is a sales pitch, and that's why I call in this world everybody is a salesman. They sell something or other. That's an important thing. Let's begin. So what is your expectations? Yes. So what do you think? What is your expectations from the corporate? What do you think when you step into the job? What corporate job will look like? What is your expectation from that? Quickly type in your chat box. Just 1 or 2 words is more than enough. What do you think you will get it from the corporate? What is your expectation when you dive yourself in the corporate world? Type in your chat boxes. Yeah, happy work, good package, growth. Yes, absolutely. Good, satisfaction, environment, good. So your expectations is also not others like others. Now that's where I say there is a huge difference between your expectations and the reality of the world. You also know very well. So we think, yes, the world is a straight line, but reality, the life is not a straight line. Life is a jumble. The only thing, yes, you can move forward, you can go forward once you know how to create, how to come out of this jugglery, how to come out from this confusion and find your direction. So if you're ready to do that, you will be highly successful. So yes, of course there is an expectations and you have to keep your expectations very high, but don't think there is a smooth staircase where you guys can travel. No. In corporate world, one of the important thing is to move top of the ladder is there is no ladder at all. There is no ladder at all. The only important thing is you have to create your own ladder. If you are there, if you are so passionate enough, you have to do something different. You have to create uniqueness of you. Then only you can create that ladder, and that's why you can go where you want it to go. Otherwise, yes, most of the people, they join with high expectations, they join with lots of things they can change, but they get frustrated. Why? The reason is they are confused. They are not knowing how to create that ladder. So if you are there who wants to create that ladder, if you are one of them who can create the ladder, then there is no stopping for you. Corporate has enormous growth opportunity for each one of you. From starting from the intern where you started your first job, I can say, to reach to the CEO or to become an entrepreneur on a given period of a time. But if you think that people will do for you, then it is not there. If you think that somebody has a red carpet welcome, sorry, it's not there. You have to create your own dent. And that's why I always love the words of Steve Jobs. He says, we are there to create a dent in a universe. Now here when we say universe is the field where we work on, whichever field where we are, either we are in finance, either we are in marketing, either we are in HR, whatever field, R&D, production, whatever field I am there, I have to create a dent. And if you are there who want to create a dent, then you have to do something differently which others have not done. If you are also doing the same thing what others have done, then you are living a life of mediocrity. So are you there ready for create a dent? Create your uniqueness. Type you in your chat box. Let me see how many of you want to create a uniqueness. Type you in your chat box. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. Yup. Lovely, lovely. You are unique, guys, and everybody is unique, and you have to create your uniqueness. Now, this session is there, give you some of the glimpse how you can create your uniqueness. So let me start with, when we talk, there is a corporate, when we say shifting of gears. So as of now, you are a college students who are preparing for this life, a life which looks and which is very glorified, a life which is very I'll say lucrative, a luxury. Yes, it is, but there is a catch in it if you require a paradigm shift. Now, how does your corporate life is, and how does your campus life work? So in your campus life, you pay for your time. That means, yes, you're paying to your campus for your time. You're giving your time and you're paying the fee. So it's called pay for your time. But in corporate life, you get paid for your time. That means whatever time you are giving to your corporate, the job you are doing, you are getting paid. So this is a biggest paradigm shift, and that's what we all are for. The second is come and gain value. So you go for an institute for what? You gain knowledge and you can create your own value. So what do you do in corporate? You go and create value for what? For corporates and for yourself. And if you are not creating value, you are also doing the same job what others are doing, then that's not the value creation. You have to find means and ways how I can be different so that I can create value. Led by instructions. So in your school, in your institution, in your college, what happened? Everything is led by instructions. You follow the instructions, there are a set of rules. You do, your teachers guide you, your professors guide you, there is a dean who gives you instructions. So everybody is following that instructions and with hardcore written SOPs. So most probably it's by stick rule it works. But when we talk in corporate, though there are rules, but those set of rules are not maybe written, but still you have to follow those set of rules, and it is led by influencing. There is no stick over there, but people will influence you because you are not. Can I request other people, anybody who has not muted their line? Hello, my request, some of the participants have not muted their line. Can they please mute it? Thank you very much. Thank you. So I was there that yes, so there are set of rules in corporates, but those set of rules are what? Those set of rules are not unwritten, but you have to follow, and it's not by stick, it's by influencing. Now you can influence others to follow the rules. Your bosses and others people can influence you to follow you. Because in corporate, we are not independent, we are interdependent on each other. So the more you follow rules, it's better to work together, and that's also called something called corporate etiquette. So that is the part of it. Okay, the other thing is perfection for practice. Through practice, the more you do, the more practice you do, the more you get perfection. So you're working in that way. On the other hand, corporate, what you're doing, you have to be first time right. Yes, I'm not saying you have to be right, but yes, the chances of doing error should be less. Initially, it can be fine. Doing for the first time, it can be fine, but not again and again. If you're repeating those errors, if you're committing those mistakes and again, you are losing your uniqueness and you are creating an image of yourself in front of the people. So try to be more first time right. I'm not saying go for a perfection, but go for on time deliveries so that you are presumed to be more professional. Succeed individually. Yes, in your campus life, you work to succeed individually. You study to get your marks. It's not for others. Whatever the hard work you are doing, it's for you, so that you can get marks, and that marks will help you in your growth. That's the part of success of individually. But in corporate, it's not like that. In corporate, we have to succeed together, because whenever the job is there, whenever a task is given into your hand, it is not an individual, it is for a group. Now it does not mean, yes, but individual have to play their role. So it's like a game of a cricket, or like a great game of a football, where everybody is playing for a winning for a team, not for individuals. Though individuals have their independency of doing their own job. So like in cricket, bowlers do the bowling, wicket keepers do the wicket keeping, batsmen do the batting, fielders do their part. Same way in corporate life, you have your own different role. But all together, put together, we work to succeed together. It's not the individual game. It's a game of team, and that's why corporate is a team game. Compete to win. Yes, your competition is to win yourself. Gain more and more marks, so you will be the topper, the first rank holder, the second rank holder, or whatever it is. So it is more the competition with individuals of winning. In corporate, it's collaborate to win. So it's not the individual. So it's a team which is winning. So the organization which you're working for is winning. It is not the department. It is not for others. So your competition is with the different organization, but not internally. So that is what we call it, a collaborate to win. Results in parts. Yes, you have semester exams and other things in your institute, in your campus life. So the results will come in parts. Corporate, it is not. It's on time and in full. So whenever you are heading for a project, your win will be when the project is ended, not in between. Your appraisal will be at the end of the year, not in between. If it is in between, it is a review where you are to give you a direction how to work more, and if you are not in a direction, how to come back. So that is where when we call shifting of gears in your paradigm shift in corporate. You have a planned growth. So yes, when we study, we have a planned growth. After 10th, I'll do 12th. When we do semester 1, semester 2, year 1 and year 2. So everything is planned. In corporate, it is not planned. It is dynamic and vague sometimes of growth visibility. Now what does it mean? It's not scary. It says it's dynamic. There are some people who grow faster in the corporate life because of their uniqueness, because of the work they do. There are some people who may struggle because they are not creating uniqueness. They are always playing blame game. They are always giving excusitis. I say there are so many diseases. One of the diseases, I call it excusitis. The people always, those are the people who always give excuses. I have not done this because this is the thing. I have not done this. This is the thing. I am late because of this. I have called. The people are not answering me because of this. So they've all, because everything they have done it. So they are suffering from a disease called excusitis. But on the other hand, there are people who take ownership and responsibility. He said, fine, if they are not working, let me find means and ways why they are not working, why they are not responding to my call. Maybe possible the pitch, the way I'm talking to them, my delivery may have a problem. They have to change the things, and that's why people will come and listen to you. So that's what is dynamic. The more professional you are, the more learned you are. Learned in the sense you are using more the practical ways, not the theory part. You will be successful in your corporate life. So that's where I talk about initial stage of gearing. Change from your shift of mindset, from your, the mindset as a student, mindset as a, I'll say in a campus life, going towards your corporate life, and that's a balancing act. So this is one of your time. This is a time where you are doing intern with your MMA, and you can learn lots and lots of things so that you can be successful in your corporate life. Guys, are you learning lot? If you are learning lot, please do type learning L in your chat box. Just type L in your chat box. I can understand you guys are learning lot. Thank you very much. I can't read all of your name, but I can use, yeah, Soumya is there, Mohammed is there, Divya is there. So many people. Thank you, Nasreen, then Dhanush. Thank you very much. Thank you guys. Thank you. If you guys keep on encouraging me, yeah, I also need a pat on the back, because let me understand. Yes. So please do write your questions. If you have any questions on this, please do write it down. End of the session, we will take care of those questions. So let me go through quickly what it is apart from this. So in gearing up of corporate, what are the things what you have to keep in mind, and what next some slides we will talk on bonding. When you join a corporate, what you do, how you do, because the very first initial stages you have to start bonding with the people, bonding with your organization. So how you can do that? So this will talk. Then aligning with them. So once you get a bond, now its time is coming how I should align myself with colleagues and with the corporate culture, with corporate vision. Third thing comes for performance, because everything depends on performance. You guys know better. The reason is, if you have studied, you have given your exams and the results comes, that is your performance. Same way when you work in the corporate, everything works on performance. And that's why there is one thing is in corporate we always say, you get a pay for your performance. So when you compare yourself with others, somebody is getting high pay, somebody is getting low pay, it is not like that. In corporate, you are getting and paid for your performance. The better you performer, the better you get payment. And it can be term of your fixed salary, or it can be terms of incentives and other things and bonuses. So how to get paid for performance? What are the things you should take care so that your performance is top and you will highly get paid? And finally, the branding. Now, branding is not your corporate branding. Branding is yourself. So what are the steps you should take so that you can brand yourself? And these are the 4-5 points we'll discuss right now. Let's just start how you should start bonding. So you can bonding by knowing your organization, how does it exist. So knowing what is the purpose of your organization, which organization. So when you get selected, your first thing is go to your website, and not even selection, I'll say, when you are going even for the interview, please do a thorough research of that organization. Why do this organization? What is the mission and vision of this organization? Why do they exist? Because when you give your answers to the interview questions, you frame them in such a way that it strucks to your mind. And it's always says speak the language they want to speak. So see what in mission and vision, what language they have written, and what are the key words are there, so that you can put those key words when you are talking to them. So knowing the purpose of an organization is very important. How you can do? By knowing the vision of the company. Vision is a long term. So in long term, what company thinks about, what they want to do, what is the creation, and that's called why. Why? Then the mission. So vision is the broad terms what they want to do. Mission is how they do it. So let's say somebody vision is to create a better world. Now what is the better world? How do they create? They can create a better world by giving the better products or effective products to the market, effective services to the markets, effective services to the people. And that's why you have to know the mission and vision statements, and that's very clear. And that's how you start aligning with them, and that's when they understand that you are really bonding with them. And finally, let's value. Now what are the values which will help you to accomplish those vision and mission statement? So you have a target, how you will do? You have a value like integrity, you have a value of honesty, you have what belief system that company have. Some company might have vision and vision on the boards, but nobody knows. Some company have a mission and vision where everybody knows what it is, from the guard who's standing to the CEO of the company. That's how the mission and statement, and that's what behavior. So we say the behavior is in, that's called the corporate culture. So you have to quickly gain the corporate and organizational citizenship. So that's and very important when you join an organization. Know their mission, vision, know the behaviors they have, and act accordingly. The faster you are, the faster you have a quick bond between the with you and the companies. Aligning to the things. Now, what is the aligning to the things means? You have to be a system learner. So every company has its own system and processes are there. If you join HR department, they have some system and procedures. If you join finance, if you join marketing, or whatever departments, every department has its own system and procedure to work, and this are different from one company to another company. So you should be a quick learner to those systems. You should be a quick follower to those systems. So it's not like that. Yes, I know that when we join any company, we are so excited, we are so passionate that we want to change the world. Yes, guys, you can change the world, but it may take time. The time is first you understand the system, then you follow the system, you adapt the system, what those systems are, and then become a change agent. There is no shortcut that you join a company and you directly become a change agent. People who try to do this, people who try to impose those things, they are the one who get fails faster. So I wanted you to become a learner, follow, adapt, then find what are the areas of improvement over there, how you can build those things and change, and then become a change agent, and then you will be a winner in your life, winner in the organization where you work on. So there is no shortcut to growth, only you can move faster. Some people may take 3 years, 4 years to get promotions, you may take 1 year or 2 years. That's how it is. Choice is yours, how fast you can work. I can give you my example. When I joined as a sales representative in one of the organization, and the person who was with me in the same organization was almost 35 years in that organization on the same role as a representative, when he was working and he was enjoying his life. There, on the other hand, there was a minimum criteria for promotion is 5 years. So at least you have to serve 5 years, then only you get a promotion. So that's a criteria when you work on. But I worked, my bosses coached me how to do it, and I was the youngest person to get promoted in the organization in 2.5 years as a first area manager. The people who were reporting to me were all elders to me, almost minimum years of 7 years. I was hardly 2.5 years and they were reporting to me. So these are the things. I'm not saying that things cannot be changed. Things can be changed, but how? It is a step-by-step method. You have to learn, you have to follow, you have to adapt, and then show them a way how you can change and how you can crack it. That's how you start aligning to work on. Now, performing. This is one of the key when you work on. Performance is simple as by creating value or contributing to the creation of value to the organization on which we are contracted for. So which organization you are working, they have their own creation, they have own way of performance. But a simple rule of performance is like this. How does the performance for the workflow? Capabilities. Now it is your capabilities, what competencies you have, and what competencies the role or position which you are working is demand. So is there is a gap, is there is your bridging, and how you bridge is, that's by learning. So once you get those capabilities, what you have to do, you have to work on processes. Now processes have a cycle time and a quality. Cycle time means how much time does it take for the job to complete. My humble request, please, if you have switched on your mic, please mute it so that it will not disturb. Thank you very much. And then you have a process qualities to work on. So once you know what is the process quality, what is the timeline, you have to deliver it. Once you deliver on time, your performance starts. Once delivered, then customer takes about customer loyalty, and then you have to retain a capital. Now customer loyalty, don't think I'm talking about external customer. There are some department who have their internal customer too. Like if you're working in an HR department, so for you, your customers are all employees of the organization. That is called internal customer. If you are in manufacturing, surely there may be lot of people internally whom you are supporting, and then they are your customer. If you are in finance, surely there are internal people whom you are helping, whom you are working for, they are your customer. So customer is, don't think only of external, but internal is also, and that's, they are your stakeholders, and that's what you have to give them the best result. And there you are evaluated on the quality and the timeline of on the delivery. If you deliver the project before on time with good quality, it's always been a delighted. But if you take time and not of quality also, then you know what happens. You're crossing the timeline and the quality is also not there. There may be some time when you're not able to deliver the result because of X, Y, Z reason. Don't let the reason with you. You always go and always speak to your stakeholders and tell them, yes, this is the time, this is the reason of delayed, can I borrow some time from you? In corporate, people are always willing you to give more time to do that, but you have to find that this should not be always as a pattern, because sometimes people create that pattern every time they go and buy the time more and more. It's not good. Once in a while it is okay, but not always, because it is your perception which depends more. It is the image which you have created, because if you do once, if you do twice, then your image is like that. You give him a job, you give her a job, they will come with what? With an excuse, say, can you increase the timeline, can you give me this, can you give me that? So don't create that perception of your image so that people is take you in that particular image. People try to die in that image. No, it cannot be done. Your image is you, and that's how you have to carve it out. So how to do the performance? Know the rules of the game. So what are the rules we are talking about? What exactly the PMS is? PMS stands for Performance Management System. So everything for performance, everything in the world, what you do comes with a motive. If there is no motive behind of doing anything, you will not get excited to do. You will not get encouraged to do, because you know what is the motive behind doing anything. So are you motivated to learn more? Type M in your chat box. Let me see how many you are still motivated to learn more. Type M in your chat box. Yes. So I'll tell you these 4 rules, who are there and how they will support you. Thank you very much. Thank you Santosh, thank you Rupesh, thank you Muhammad. So let's start with first rule of the game called motives. So what are your motives? How does it really help you out? Your motive is about for productivity. Of course, we are there for give our results, and that's called productivity. Your motive is to get your rewards and culture and values. So how do you give productivity? How you give your results? With what culture and what values your organization have, and how you are aligning with it. Means you are giving a result with honesty and integrity, but not by doing any other false thing, not by cheating, but doing the things and that you getting a reward for. And that's where the motive is behind. So motive is very important for everything. Let's do the play. Who are the play? What do you do? So here the play is, the game is, you need to have a goal setting. Like in your in your student life, what your play is, you have to get marks as much as possible. The maximum marks you get, that it is. How you get a marks is the play, how you do the playing. Playing is by studying semester wise, by taking all those things, notes and all that, you prepare yourself and do. Yes, Muhammad, just write down in questions. We'll take it later. I know that you have raised your hand. So here the game is goal setting. Goal setting is your target. So whatever the job is given to you, a certain target is defined. Those targets are your goal setting. So you have to be clear on those targets. If your targets are clear, yes, you are. So you have to, you have to make your target clear with your bosses, with your superiors when you work with them. So they will clear your targets, that's how. So one of the targets you might be getting right now with MMA, that on particular date you are having an award function, and before that you have to close it, you have to find those people. So that's the target, that's how the target runs on. Then performance review. So every day there will be a review, or every week there will be a review. Where are we? How much we have talked about? What things we have done it? how it went well, what resources do you require. So that is called a performance review. It's not an interrogation. Don't think it is an interrogation, that it's a postmortem, what didn't well, what went well, what didn't. No, it's not like that. Performance review is a guidance from your bosses so that they know what resources you require. Do you require any guidance to work on? That is comes in a performance review, and then they will give a feedback. So feedback is a, something, it's like a mirror to you. So when you see in your mirror, you see how I am pretty smart, or there is something which is a dust on my face, so I can remove, or there's something like that. Same thing, it's a feedback is like that. It's like a mirror which shows you where you are and what are the areas you are doing pretty well, pretty good, exceptional jobs, and what are the areas of concerns, which are the areas where you want to improve on. That's where the feedbacks come on. And who are the players? Absolutely, in corporate life. So in student life, your players are your teachers, your the fellow students who are working with you, and all other people who are helping you are the players. In corporate life, your players are your boss, your customers, your HR manager. All these are your players. All these are your stakeholders, and your success depends on these stakeholders. How you behave with them, how you satisfy them, are they delighted with you or not. So it's a 360-degree player game. And what are the scores? So scores when you talk in your life, in student life, is your marks. But here, scores is what? It is the compensation. It is the paycheck that you get. Your recognition, your rewards, your career growth. That's the score. The better the score, the better the review, the better coordination with the team players, better is the score, better is your career plan. Otherwise, you can see on the top, that is called something called separation and performance improvement. So if you didn't do well, they'll put you into performance improvement plan, may give you some time to work on, and if you didn't, they may say, thank you very much, till now you have done a pretty well, but going forward it would be a very difficult to play with us. And that's how the life is. So your motives, players and scores, and that's what the performance philosophy of any organization, how they work on. You have to create your own personal brand. So how do you do that? The entire thing by creating your own personal brand. Now what is the personal brand is? The personal brand is talking about adding value. How you add value to the organization with specific area where you do that. So what are the things you have to create to know, or the rules of the personal branding? Let's understand what are the 10 strong rules of personal branding. You should not be like other people. You should be different. And if you have to be different, you have to create on your personal brand. Now what is the personal brand? The number one is never give up. Whatever may be the circumstances, whatever things will come, do or die, but don't give up. If you leave the things in between, if you're leaving things at all, not doing the things on time and giving up, you are creating an image of a giver. And when you create an image of a giver who gives up easily, it's not branding failure, but a person who is not trying hard to do the things. People will not give you project, task to do. So you should not give up. That's the first and fundamental rule of anywhere. You work in your life, it will be there. You should not be a giver. You should be a fighter on the other hand. Let go your ego. Between you and your success, the only thing is the hindrance is your ego. Ego will not let you to learn. So when you will say let go the ego, means if you don't do anything, go ask for the help. You seek for the help, you will get the help. That is what. Ego is the thing which holds you to getting help. Why should I go and ask somebody for a help? How they will think of me? It can be you may be a little shy, your self-esteem is low, but that is what the ego is holding you. So let go the ego. If you don't know and you are a newcomer, and it's not for the newcomer at any age. Now I am almost 20-25 years into the industry, but still I am learning for new people. Don't let the ego to come in. Don't let the ego. Once the ego is there, it will stop you to move forward. I'll give you an example. When I started my job, there was no computers. We don't know about any computers. Almost after 6 or 7 years in my corporate life, then sooner these computers came. And then one of our HR instructed us, because I was in sales and marketing, they said that you have to go and learn the computers. I said, fine, I'll go learn on computer. When I went to study in one of the, the computer classes at my place to do this Word, MS Word, PowerPoint and all that, the guy who was sitting, he was studying in class 12. He knows each and everything. And that guy, he came as my teacher. So I was pretty surprised. How can this guy of class 12th will come and teach me about computers and say, no, he's a master. And that's how we learn. So if your ego is there, it stops you to learn. You can learn from each and everybody. So keep your learning, we have a sweet tooth. I say you should have a learning brain or learning tooth. You should hunger for learning and learn every day. Believe in yourself so that others can believe you. This is your confidence in yourself. So don't lose that confidence. Don't be shy. So believe in yourself, then only people will believe you. So believe does not mean a false belief. Believe means that, yeah, I can do it provided you give me a training. You can help me, I can learn. That is called belief. Belief is not like that, I can do it. Sometimes what happens, people think belief is giving a false claim. So when you give a false claim in a corporate life, what will happen? When you give a false claim, and you say that I am master, I have done this, they will hand over a job to you. And when you don't know how to do it, or you know partially and you are not able to complete, then the things goes on. So believe means, okay, on a scale of 100, 50% I can do it, provided 50% you give me a training, you give me some direction, and then 100% work will complete. That is what belief I am talking about in the corporate world. It is not a blind belief on yourself. It is like something you have done, you can do it right now. And that is what belief is. So given an example, can you drive a truck? Probably, potentially, everybody can drive a truck. The only thing is, when somebody can give him a driving lessons of how to drive a truck, everybody can drive a truck. But does not mean, okay, do you know driving? Yes, I know driving. Why? I can ride my bike. I can drive a car. Okay, now hand over the keys of truck. Do that. No, you can't because you haven't driven. So anything which you haven't done it is not in what we call it a competencies. When we talk about competencies, is what you have already done. So yes, provided I need some amount of time, a practice to do it again and again, I can do it, and that's fairly well enough. And that's how you start believing in yourself. Know yourself. So knowing yourself is very important before you know other people and other people know it. How you can know yourself is by doing a SWOT analysis. I hope that you might, because since you guys are from MBAs and all that, you might have done SWOT analysis. That's another version of, it's called SWOT analysis. If you haven't done it, please do this. This is very important. And you keep on doing every year, every 6 months. Where are you? Because it gives you a clear image. Where are you? It is, SWOT is not once for a lifetime. Every 6 months an individual has to do. That means you should know your strength. What are your strengths? What are your challenges? What are your opportunities and what are your threats? So as you know very well, guys, strength and challenges are internally. That is from you. You know them. Opportunities and threats are external. That is not controlled by you. So your strength can be your command of your subject which you are studying. It can be finance, it can be HR, it can be marketing, whatever the subject you are. You have a command over this. Challenges it. Some people have a challenge, okay, I cannot work in this industry, I can work in this industry, I have a mind, I'll work only in the software, I will not go in the production or the manufacturing. That can be a challenge. A challenge can be, okay, I want to work only in South India, I can't go other part of India. That can be a challenge. So these are the certain challenges as the things which can, but those are the some challenges we can find out. Because opportunities can be anywhere. Now you know how the conditions of the market is going on. There is so much of job cut, layoff. So there is a tremendous amount of competition around. It is not only you as a fresher, but the people 2-3 years are old also coming into that line. So that means whatever the pay you think you can get it, Those people also wanting a job and they also are in the same line. Now remember, a person who is 3 to 4 of, let's say, 5 years old want to work on the same salary because he does not have a job. That's a threat for you. But there is an opportunity also around, because if you are different than them and you can work, if they have a constraint which you do not have, then you can work on. So as an individual, as you have to do this analysis, you make a 4 quadrants in a paper, right? Strength, challenges, opportunity and threat, and do that analysis of yours. Do it thoroughly, give it time. It will make your path of success. That's called SWOT analysis. What else? You have to be unique. You don't copy others. I have seen some people start copying others. Now copying others means, okay, my friend has done this, let me also do it. He started blogging, let me also start. He is very famous in blogging. He started his Facebook page. Now his Facebook page is very important. Let me also start my Facebook page. I will also get. Guys, we have to be unique. You may all do that. You can start your blogging, you can start your YouTube channel, you can start anything else, but you have to be unique. Do something unique which people are not doing. And if you do unique, then only you are different. But if you are the same, you can't create anything. Same way, when you start working in a office, there may be many people will say, do this, do that, copy me. No, you can't copy them. Learn from them and don't become a Xerox. Be of unique style, because you have your own personality to work on. So don't copy, don't get short-sightedness. So when people start copying others, I always call a short-sightedness. They are not unique. Be consistent in everything what you do. It's very important. So your image is what has been created by your consistency. Now what is that consistency means? Consistency means when you talk to the people, when you deliver your result, what time you are coming. These are all called consistencies. How you are seen on a social platform, that is called consistency. I have seen many people, when I talk to recruiters, when I say what do you check, most of my recruiters says that now before they are doing a reference check for recruiting a new person, they also check when do they do the reference check, they see on social media platform how they are. So if they are posting something on Facebook, something on the platform which is derogatory, which is not as per the society, which can harm the image of the organization, or which can create confusions, people don't want to hire them. So my humble request to you, if you are using all those social media platform, and all of us we do, we are so much social animal, we all do this, please be neutral on that. It should not be very derogatory remarks or something, or political remarks which can go against you. So it is consistency, not in yourself, but consistency everywhere. And I hope that you might have created your LinkedIn profile, because that's a profile which shows and gives your image, and that's where most of the recruiter now looked at on the people. 7th step, you need to think for successful, you need to have your passion, expertise and support system. So passion is something which drives you to do things. So that's the only thing. Because if there is no passion, like my passion is for facilitating, my passion is for training and educating people. Though I have started myself in sales and marketing, up till first 12 years of my life, I was hardcore sales guy, selling products and services. Then I shift my gears and become a facilitator. Now I'm training people on sales and marketing and telling them what is different. And so that's my passion. Now I am enjoying my life, because what my hobby is become my profession. And if your hobby becomes a profession, you enjoy your life. So make your passion, or start loving what you do. It's two things. If you can't do what you love, start loving what you can do, so that you can create passion. It's not 9 to 5 job. Get an expertise into it. So if you are in field of finance, get in finance expertise. In finance also there may be many sub branches. So get an expertise into one particular branch, because if you have an expertise on one particular branch, you will be known, and that is how you can step faster in corporate ladder than others. In HR also, where you want to look like in HR? Do you want to in training and development, you want to in recruitment, or in general HR, on payroll, whichever it is, find out. In sales and marketing, you want to be in sales, you want to be in outbound sales, you want to be inbound sales, or you want to be in sales operation, you want to be in product management. There's so many things around. You have to find one area and start working, create your niche on that, and that's where you can start. And if you have an expertise, then the support system will work with you. That is how you have to find out what support system. And this all will come from where? From your SWOT analysis. What are your strengths? What are your challenges? Will tell you to lead to you to narrow it down to find your passion and your expertise. Take a stand on a topic because no one is interested in neutral. So what does it mean? So when you are in corporate meetings, when people ask for your ideas, when people ask for your comments, give them some comment. Don't say, oh, I am okay with him. Whatever everybody said, I am okay. So these are all neutral comments. Because when you start giving neutral comments, tomorrow nobody will come and ask from you. People, when they join corporate, again I say, they are very enthusiastic. And when slowly they become neutral. When you become neutral and then one fine day they'll come, okay, nobody listens to me, nobody wants to hear what I want to say. Guys, nobody will come and say, you please give me your interview, tell me what is your views. When in the platform they have given you a chance, share your views. Share your views with logic, share your views with direct, but don't harm and argue with others. Everybody has an own perception of looking at things. Everybody has a own idea of playing it on the table. Give them in such a way that you are not harming others. So if you're not harming others, you should not play neutral. No, I don't have an issue. So, and 3 things you should never discuss in your career and your political life. Now, what are those 3 things is? Politics, cricket and religion. Again, I am repeating politics, cricket and religion. These are the 3 things don't discuss in your corporate life, because these are the things where you can talk till the cows come home, length and breadth for years together, but there is no end of these 3 topics. And these are the 3 topics which can create so many problems, so many confusion amongst the people. So stay away from these topics. Rest of the topic, share your views. You get out of what it puts, so work as hard as you can and you will be having amazing results. So give 100% so that you can get amazing results. Imagine your future and then take each day to build it. So imagine where you want to be. So now you have started as an intern. Tomorrow what corporate, and 5 years down the line where you are seeing yourself. 10 years down the line you can see where yourself. And when you see where my end is, then what you have to do, you have to work accordingly to reach there. Don't start a journey before seeing the end in mind. Example, you are in Chennai and if you want to go to Delhi, you have to find means and ways how I can go to Delhi. How I can reach to Delhi. You can take a flight, you can take a car, you can take a train, or whatever means and ways you can find, you can do it. Just a minute, guys. Sorry. So it depends. So same way in your corporate ladder, when you're seeing it next 5 years, where I want to be a senior manager, I want to be a general manager, I want to be a VP, whatever is in your mind. Or let's say 5 years, I want to be an entrepreneur, I will start my own business, I will start my own consultancy. Whatever is in your mind, you have to see an end in mind and take the steps right now, and you start building from today. So these are the 10 rules of making your personal brand, and this is how you can stand out of the crowd but not same as it. So corporate career is like snakes and a ladder, I always say. Yes, there is a chances of going up, but there is a chances of going down also. Whenever the snake bites, you have to come down. So never give up, after a bite. Do not hesitate to seize a ladder when it's around the corner. So whenever it is, catch them as fast as possible. So guys, are you learning a lot? Are you gaining something? If you're gaining something, type G in your chat box. Let me see how many of you are gaining something. Good, good. So there are a couple, 2 or 3 slides more, and then we'll go for a question and answer session. So I'll go quickly now. So this is a story everybody knows. I am not going deep into it. It says that we are like in a jungle. So there is a school where everybody has to be given everything. Like there was a duck who was excellent swimming, but talking about running and racing, she was not good. Rabbit was excellent in what? Running, but swimming, he can't do that. Squirrel was very climbing high, but talking to or running with the horses, she can't do. Same way, everybody is playing their part. Everybody has their own uniqueness. So you have to work on your own uniqueness. Don't try to achieve what others have done. Try to learn from others, and in your uniqueness, create your path. So if you are a bird, see what type of bird you want to be and learn the tips and techniques of creating your niche in the bird. You can't become an elephant because you are not an elephant. If you are an elephant, you have to learn how I can create my path like an elephant, not like a rabbit. So you are in a jungle, and in jungle everybody has its own uniqueness. Go with your uniqueness. So last but not the least, communication is one of the important things, because without any communication, it's difficult to communicate yourself, express yourself, get the work done. So what's an important thing in communication? So there's a research by Professor Albert Mehrabian. What Albert Mehrabian says is this: 7% of your communication is through verbal. That means the words have that impact. Vocal is 38%, and 55% is visual. So if you see 55 plus 38, 93% is non-verbal. So you should know how you are communicating, where you are. As a human being, we have seen we have more emphasis on words. What type of words we choose, how we write. No, words are important when you're writing your exams, but words are not important when you are in your corporate life. Corporate life is more than words, is how you say them, how you do them, and how the visually, your body language, how you speak, and that thing, your tone. So be careful about your body language, the way you do your what I call it, your the pitch of your tonality. Those are the things which you have to keep in mind when you're speaking, because that make a sense, not the words. Words are different, and they have a different meaning to different people. So what are the 10 effective things you can keep in mind to do a effective communication? Number 1 is your message should be clear and brief. So speak clearly and in brief, short, so that people can understand. It is not the longer format. Why I am saying? Because this is a big shift you should make in your mind when you shift from your campus to corporate life. Because when you are in campus life, your main intention when you're writing an examination, or why we use so much wordiness, is to write big answers so that we can get more marks. That is your intention. But when you are in corporate life, your intention is get the work done, a job to be completed as fast as possible. And this can only be completed when instructions are clear and brief, short, people can understand. So there is a huge shift from your way of thinking in a campus, and the corporate life is a huge shift. Some people who takes time to shift is the people who, laid back. That's how other things. Use simple words and avoid phrases. Now what does it mean? I'll give you just an example for it. Don't use the grammar or the English what Mr. Shashi Tharoor used. Everybody knows Shashi Tharoor. He's an excellent guy, a good command on English. But if you think he's a corporate guy, I will say no. Because when he speaks, and if the people don't understand, they have to find the dictionary to find the meanings of the word, what he is speaking, what exactly it means. It takes time, and your delivery gets delayed. So you should have a simple word and avoid phrases and cliches not to be used. Use short and familiar words so that people can understand. Speak clearly and at a reasonable volume. So if you are a fast speaker, you have to slow it down. If you are a slow speaker, you have to gear up. Now what is fast and slow is, you can take this an experiment at your home. You can take any newspaper or any paragraph which you really want to read that paragraph twice or thrice so that you can get familiar with it, you know what it is written, and then you can take your mobile phone and start the stopwatch. Read that paragraph for a minute and then see how many words you have read. If you have read between 100 and 20 words, that means if you are less than 120 words in a minute, you are a slow speaker, slow reader. You can speak that. So read it loudly, not mumbly, read it loudly. So like you're speaking. So if you are 120 words per minute, you are less than that, you are a slow speaker. If you are speaking 140 words per minute or more, you are a fast speaker. The best speakers are who speak at the speed of 130 words per minute. Between 125 to 130 words per minute are the good speaker. The rest can be slow or be a fast. You should be a perfect speaker, not a slow or a fast speaker. Economicize on adjectives. So adjectives, you know very well, it is demonstrating quality. So when you are telling about somebody, when you are telling about the quality of something, don't give so much adjectives. We are, tend to attracted by nowadays, especially by the social media and those reality shows. If you see the reality show judges, they use 2-3 adjectives at a one go for describing a person, a good performance. They say fantabulous, extraordinary, well person. Guys, no, use 1 or 2 adjectives at a time so that you can be literally telling what exactly it is. And finally, express your thoughts logical and in direct way. Don't argue with the people. Avoid unnecessary words, the words which does not add meaning to it. There are some words when people say, if you ask them from where are you, people will start with answers. Basically, I am from here. Now, if you say basically I am from Coimbatore, basically I am from Delhi. Now, basically does not add any value to that sentence. You can directly say I am from Delhi, I am from Coimbatore, I am from Mumbai. Sentence is enough. So just see the words when you are speaking, are they adding any value to your sentence? If they are not adding value to your sentence, those are unnecessary words. Cut them out. Actually, basically, those are words which should not do. Now I say cliche. Cliche is the source word which you repeatedly, sometimes frequently use. Like sometimes everybody use actually like this, actually like that. People say, give you a name called actually is coming. So don't use those words. Use summarize at the end. Important thing is that. So once your discussions is completed, everything is complete, summarize into 2-3 bullet points. These are the 3 bullet points we have learned. So we have learned about what? We have learned about paradigm shift, we have learned about how to do a performance, how to create a brand, and we have learned how to effective communication. Now these are the 4 points we have already covered, and let's go. So you have to summarize with bullet points so that it can understand and say, now this is what you have to do, this is what we have to do. Finally, effective use of non-verbal communication. Use it as a strength. So its important thing is to ask questions, not stopping. That's what Einstein says it. So my request is, guys, now dice is open to you all. You can ask questions. Thank you very much for please and listening to me. If you have any questions, any queries, you can write down in a chat box. You can even unmute yourself and ask. I would love to do that. I hope that you enjoyed my session. If you enjoyed my session, say I enjoyed. Just E. Type your E in your chat box. Write enjoyed. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now it's dice is yours. You can ask questions. Yeah. Yes. So that's what I'm saying. Economic adjective means use less. I'm not saying use more. If you want to describe somebody, use one adjective is more than enough. Like if I want to say your question was really appreciated, done. It was very well said. If I would have said no, it's a very wonderful, fantastic, and a marvelous question you have asked, and everybody should do like this. Now what I have done, I've used three different adjectives for the same thing. Now this is one when you are not economicizing, you are giving more. So when I say economize, use one. Adjectives are appropriate to use, but use it very less. Frequent means appropriately, I'll say. Yep, my pleasure. Yes, yes, Rupesh. Good. Thanks, Rupesh. So it's always good to speak, but every organization has its own culture. Every organization has its own steps to work on. So if your organization, wherever you are going and working on, it's a free organization where anybody can approach to the higher authorities with anything, it's always okay, you can go. But if an organization has a step-by-step approach, that means you have to approach to your boss and then he will take it to the next level. So you have to follow. So anything you have to follow the rules. That's how it is. So you have to see in which organization you are working on. You can always, and it's always to, if you are not satisfied with each and anything, you always go first is your boss. They are the one who is going to nurture you. They are the one who will giving you direction. So they are the one who you have to go first and tell them and share your grievances with them. It's not only if you are not satisfied, if you are happy also, you pass on that also. I am very happy that you have done this to me. I'm very happy, I'm very satisfied that these are my things which my organization give. So don't only think when you are not happy, I'll talk to them. When you are happy and you are satisfied, you should do that also. It's both the thing. I hope that I have answered your question. Yeah, thank you, Rupesh. Yeah. Absolutely, why not? See everything goes with an organization, but appraisal is done by your manager, your first line, and that is a time where you have to discuss with it. Because if you don't demand, see, one thing is there in corporate and every life. If you don't demand, you will not get it. So if you have done something exceedingly well, if you have done it better, and if you think that this is exceedingly well, you have to demand for it. So there is no harm in that. Go and demand with your bosses whom you are working directly with it. Yeah. Yes. It's my pleasure, sir. It's my pleasure for an honor for communicating and talking with these people. And if you have any question and queries, you can follow me on any of the social media channel, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter as Resilient Road. This is my hashtag. You can shoot queries and questions over there. I can really appreciate. If you love this session, I'll also say that you just write 2 words on me on those social platforms. It will be really helpful for me. Thank you very much, Dr. Venkatraman. Thank you, MMA, for giving this honor and pleasure for talking to everybody. Yeah. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Stay safe. Yeah. Stay safe. Stay healthy.